Happy Monday, everybody! You're listening to the Personal Playlist Podcast, fondly referred to as the P3. I'm Noah Daniel.
Music is a world within itself, with a language we all understand.
I am so excited to have Adam Kotowski here on the Personal Playlist Podcast. Coach Adam is a certified master practitioner of Neuro Linguistic Programming, or NLP. His education includes being a certified hypnotherapist and also an MBA. Coach Adam's The Extraordinary Me program and 3 into 4 includes being a mentor to the Illinois Youth Corrections Facility mentoring program and the Mental Approach program for over 12 years with Mike Ryan's Fastball USA. Additionally, Adam has mentored and coached thousands of students and athletes on personal challenges with beliefs, approach, and mental blocks for over 15 years, including 9 years of mentoring on identity and beliefs for Turning Point Counseling. His passion for coaching and mentoring inspired him to write his first book, You Are Extraordinary. The book not only reflects Coach Adam's extraordinary mindset, its publication has been an inspired accomplishment for him. Coach Adam's The Extraordinary Me program podcast features guests who are ordinary people who have chosen the extraordinary. Thanks for coming on the show, Coach Adam.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Noah. It's an absolute honor to know you and be a part of this, so thank you.
You are full of pumping people up, and it's always great to be able to connect with you. But we actually got to speak for the first time on an On Ed Mentors episode when we were talking about ADHD. Mm-hmm. How do you come to talk about that topic?
Well, I've had ADHD my whole life. I'm now 45 years old, and you know, you go back to my youth. Here I am, growing up on the north side of Chicago, going to private schools, and everybody would tell my parents, specifically my mom, you know, Adam he can't learn. He doesn't learn effectively. He's going to struggle through life. He's going to struggle in school. You know, you hear that so many times, and there really wasn't back then the diagnosis and the opportunity to discover what it was that they have today, which is, it's so inspiring that there's so many people taking this bull by the horns and learning so much about it. And I'm so honored to be an advocate for it too. So that's how I got invited. Nicole Biscotti invited me to the podcast. And, you know, it was a great session. I think it was very transformational. We learned a lot. And, you know, I can give direct experience because I lived through it.
Yeah, and it really does help to listen to people who have lived through it, to understand a reframe. And that's what, you know, Nicole's book will be about, is really understanding her son Jason's perspective, because she and he are writing it together. But you help a lot of people find their extraordinary. Why were you so compelled to write the book?
So, great question, Noah. The book was a pull. And, you know, oddly enough, the book was based on 17 years of me implementing this program. It's not all my program. I'd say it's about 70% of what's in the book. And then we do a lot of interacting and connecting when I, you know, bring it to a school, or I bring it with, you know, a student athlete facility. And I just thought it would be a good idea to finally pen, you know, the manual itself, finally. And on top of that, you'll see in the book itself, I write letters to the kids who, you know, I find my best work, you know, is when I'm working with a student athlete or I'm working with a parent for that student athlete, and they'll email me or text me, and I find my best work is replying to that. Like, okay, give me a minute, let me figure this out, and then I can read what they wrote, and then I literally can reply to that. So those were actual letters in the book. They were actual letters to kids, but obviously I changed their names and change their identity so no one would know who they are. But I really wanted to personalize it. So someone who was picking up the book and read it, they would say, oh yeah, that can relate to me too. It's like he's talking to me through the letter. So, you know, that's where a lot of the reasons why I wanted to create You Are Extraordinary.
It's so wonderful, the fluidity between the coaching and mentoring work that you do. Why the podcast then?
So the podcast is it's such a loaded question, but it really isn't, because I created the podcast because I was really doing it for other people. I know there are people like me out there that you know what, I am challenged in the way I learn. I learn uniquely, but it doesn't mean I don't want to learn. It also doesn't mean that I don't want to contribute to the world. I wanted to find ordinary people who choose the extraordinary. Not Hollywood people, nothing against Hollywood people, but I'm not looking for the famous. I'm looking for people who just are in everyday life that everybody's like, I get tons of people reaching out to me. You've got to get this person on your podcast. I love that. I want ordinary people in the community that do the extraordinary and say, you know what? I want to put your story out there, and I want people to learn about you and how we can learn from what you have done, what you've overcome, and what you've transformed. Because ordinary people, there's billions of ordinary people on this planet who can choose the extraordinary and make a major impact in our world.
It's so true. And part of that is the narrative. And in many ways, that's what this show does for my students when it's a project in my classroom is it takes their ordinary stories and it reminds them that they are extraordinary by unpacking their nostalgic identity and pick-me-up songs. So tell me a little bit about preparing for the show.
Well, it was it was unique because I'm a big fan of your show and I listen to it weekly. So I'm sitting there going, wow, I'm going to be on this at some point. And what 3 songs do I pick? Because there's so many over the years that have inspired you, or you could have wrote that song based on your life story. So when I was preparing for it, I really wanted to pick 3 songs that I really felt had a major impact, both nostalgically. I was born in 1975. So, the first song we'll go over when we're ready. And then, during college time when there was challenges and how I did pick that song. And then later most recently, it's a more recent song, but it's like when you heard it, you almost stop driving and pull into a parking lot and say, wow, that's me. So those were the 3 I kind of picked.
That's amazing. Nobody has brought a song from these brothers that are not brothers, but let's talk a little bit about your nostalgic song. One of those, essential Chicago classic experiences and being on a mission from God to play a concert. Tell me a little bit about this song.
So it's the truth. Soul Man by the Blues Brothers. It's no coincidence because there's no such thing as coincidence in life. Here I am, born in 1975. That's right when SNL, Saturday Night Live, was coming out, and they create these characters, Jake and Elwood. And what I love about this song, Soul Man, is the idea of the Blues Brothers was really just a Saturday Night Live skit. It was created on a kind of a joke, a whim, and then their characters just develop something. And Saturday Night Live is based in New York, so here they are, and they're basing this out of Chicago, and then they create the movie, and that movie is timeless. It's just incredible. And then
the cameos make it even more timeless, incredible. But, yeah,
and what's incredible about it, Noah, is it really taught me about the soul. And I say that to the truth because that's what the extraordinary me is. I always say you're a soul with a body, not a body with a soul. And since that's the case, we really can't define your limits. So this song spoke to me at a very young age. I was probably like 5 or 6 when I first heard it. And every time it came on, I would dance. And oddly enough, in grade school, 7th, 8th grade, I was picked to be Elwood. Another kid named Al was Jake, and we were on stage for a lip sync contest one time, and the entire school was called into assembly. And they're still riveting about that because I just tore it up with doing Dan Aykroyd's Elwood Moved, and it moves and dancing like crazy. And it's always spoken to me. And then when you exactly said on a mission from God, it really kind of set the groundwork for a lot of what I do with my work is, why are you here? What is your mission in life? If you have a mission, which we all do, it's buried in your heart. You got to bring that out. We all have a purpose. We all can contribute. And, when they're saying that everything they did, which there's some funniness to the movie and you had to see it. It really was. They were on a mission from God, and they had to get this taken care of. And I just think that spoke volumes to me at a very young age.
No, I think that it's something we can be cultivating also in our classrooms. I know that so often for my own work, I feel that way. I feel compelled by something bigger than myself. And I think that we can explain it away, or we can explain it to ourselves and remind ourselves that those are part of the beautiful aspects of living and being connected to something greater. So let's play it. John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd as the Blues Brothers, Jake and Elwood, Soul Man.
Coming to you on a dusty road. Good loving, I got a truckload. And when you get it, you got something. So don't worry, 'cause I'm coming. I'm a soul man. I'm a soul man. I'm a soul man. I'm a soul man. Got what I got the hard way, and I'll make it better each and every day. So honey, don't you fret, 'cause you ain't seen nothing yet. I'm a soul man. I'm a soul man. Play it, Steve. I'm a soul man. I'm a soul man. Ha! Listen, was brought up on a side street.
I haven't even thought of them in so long, and it's bringing me such a smile.
Isn't it?
It really is. Like, it's from a different time, and yet that feeling of SNL has stayed alive, which is pretty incredible, of what power you can have with comedy to tell the story of the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the things I also think about, Noah, is you look at a lot of what's going on today with a lot of racial tension. These two gentlemen, Jake and Elwood, went into any neighborhood in Chicago. It didn't matter, and they were just them, and everybody got along. And they're putting the band back together. And Aretha Franklin's in the restaurant, and she's, you better think about what you're trying to do to me. And all these people from all these different backgrounds, and here it is in the late 70s, early 80s. They're telling us how we need to come together, and music was a big part of that, and how we get along. So many messages from that movie and from the song.
Yeah. And actually, there's so many messages in your Identity song that I'm interested in why this song tells your story. So let's move into that next song.
Okay.
And it's a song that many people have commented on. It's a very intense and beautifully reflective song. How does it tell the story of you?
So The River, well, first of all and foremost, Garth Brooks, hands down, my favorite all-time artist of all time. And all of his music has spoken to me since I've heard him, take over the charts in 1991 and 92. But The River is really a lot of what I talk about too in the book, Noah. It's you talk about the line from there. A dream is like a river, ever changing as it flows, and a dreamer is just a vessel that must follow where it goes. I've often said, when it comes to our identity mission, that we already have it planted in our heart, our soul. And it's there. It's Maslow talks about it with self-actualization, but self-actualization is remembering why you're here and what you're looking to accomplish. You must be who you came here to be. And when I first heard this song, it just stopped me in my tracks, and I replayed it. And back then it was, cassette tape and then a CD. So you'd have it on repeat. And, it would just tell you how you already have this dream. And I think it's more of a connection, like a communication. Here you are. This is what you agreed on when you came here. Now that you're able to listen to your heart, to listen to your soul, you're the vessel. You've got to carry this out. And you know what? It's going to be rough. And he talks about that. Learn from what's behind you, and never knowing what's in store makes it a constant battle to stay between the shores. And it's so very true. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And whenever I work with kids, student athletes, students, parents, teachers, coaches, I always tell them, yeah, it's going to be hard. Once you plant that idea, that seed, that this is what I came here to do, this is who I came here to be, nobody's going to hand it to you. It's not going to be easy. Matter of fact, you're going to get more resistance, more tides, more water pushing back on you, excuse me, than you will something that flows. But when you get past that, when you, in a line he says in here that I absolutely love, is choose to chance the rapids and dare to dance that tide. I memorized that as a young kid, and it's the truth. Choose to chance the rapids. Choose to chance where it gets bumpy. Choose to chance the uncommon, not just the common, and dare to dance that tide. Don't allow other people to condition your beliefs and limit you. You are extraordinary. You can accomplish what you came here to accomplish. Certain people will guide you. Certain people will block you. Use that blocking as a redirection on a way to come back to where you want to go down the river.
Wow, it's so beautiful. And I think that hearing that connection to your first song makes me think about so many. I just finished rereading The Alchemist, and I was talking about it with many different people, but it also makes me think about you. Like, the simplest things are also the most extraordinary things, and it's only the wise that can see them, but we become wise by being true to our heart. So let's play your song, Garth Brooks, The River.
A dream is like a river, ever changing as it flows, and the dreamer's just a vessel that must follow where it goes, trying to learn from what's behind you and never knowing what's in store. Makes each day a constant battle just to stay between the shore. And I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky. I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Too many times we stand aside and let the water slip away to what we put off till tomorrow has now become today. So don't you sit upon the shoreline and say you're satisfied. Choose to chance the rapids and dare to dance the tide.
I had to include that part that you had alluded to, because I think that that's one of the hardest parts, is knowing that the journey will be difficult. And, a lot of people will be afraid of that feeling of failure. But if you embed that understanding in the journey itself, it will help you get there, because you know that the struggle has purpose and that it's part of your story.
So I do. I've never once complained about having ADHD or having learning challenges. I've always feel blessed because I can see and feel things that others miss. And I think that's what's really guided me to being a mentor. Obviously when I started, I really heavily thought I played 2 sports through high school and 2 sports through college. And I had a successful career and, played a little professionally with baseball. And I really thought at that time, I want to go and probably coach either basketball or baseball, maybe both, get into high school. And then there was something inside of me that said, no, it's not for you. And then, naturally started dating my wife, and we have kids, obviously 4 now. And during that time, another reason why I held off on the book too, Noah, is because I had to experience things as a father, not just as the student athlete I was. I had to go through guiding and mentoring my kids. and learning more from them, because the world they live in is no longer the world we grew up in. And I truly feel that kids teach you so much if you allow them to. And what I tell kids all the time, Noah, and I think I might be veering off track, but I'm going to say this anyway. When you have a goal, I like to say accomplishment, because an accomplishment means you're going to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
But for kids, they relate to the word goal or dream. And when you decide on that, you now have a problem, because the problem is you're not there yet. So that's why, again, when you go with the song The River, it tells you it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows. There's going to be a lot of resistance from a lot of people, a lot of natural forces, but there's always going to be that pull. There's always going to be that river that's there for you to go down it. And then you can enter into the ocean or the main water streams at some point. But it's tough. And I do feel that that's been a part of my life majorly, is having that struggle with ADHD, having a lot of things that's happened to me individually, but I wouldn't change a thing, because it's gotten me to where I am today.
Well, the extended metaphor, too, of the river shows the difference between a dream and a goal, in that a dream is something that you can sit still with, but rivers don't sit still, and goals are things that have challenges and change, and they meander, and you can veer off the path, but there is something powerful and a force even beyond the water itself that guides that river. And I think that it's a really interesting layered thing to be able to share as your identity song, but also in the amazing work you do impacting others. But sometimes we need something for ourselves.
Correct.
That pick me up. And this one is for you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So it's a Luke Combs song. It's called This One's For You. And it's funny because the lyrics start off with, there's a couple people that I owe a beer or two. And, you sit there and say, I'm not promoting drinking alcohol or anything like that. What it means is why it's a pick-me-up, because whenever I get challenged or whenever I experience doubt in my mission, you'll for instance, you publish the book, you'll get 10 people that say they loved it, the kids loved it. And then you'll get, 2 or 3 people that just say, I don't understand this. You're way off base. And you'll get a lot of pushback. And again, what we talked about, anything in life, you're going to. But then there's those people that have either been put into your life or you've put them into your life. And those are the ones you're doing it for. You look at, so for instance, my family is, Luke Combs says in here, this might not be the right time to say what I'm going to, but this one's for you. And I really think what he's saying here is, I'm doing this not just for me at this point. This mission that I'm about to accomplish, I'm bringing you with me. And I look at a lot of the people that I've worked with over the years, people I've mentored, the Illinois Youth Corrections Facility, for instance. These are kids that just made choices and decisions. They're not bad kids. Society historically will look at them as felons and look at them as people who've done, bad things. And the first thing I do when I go in there and say, I don't want to know what you've done. It's irrelevant. I want to know where you've been, and more importantly, how we transform that into where you want to go, so that we don't ever end up here again. And I teach them the same thing I teach everybody else about the extraordinary me, about who you can be. And, instead of going from a predictable future because of your past, let's rewrite the script. And I really think a lot of times I'm doing it for them too. Like when I write, I'm telling their story. I'm keeping my promise to them that, I'm here to do it. I'm here to accomplish who I became here to be for you, in addition to me. So Noah, when I hear this song, and why it stopped me in my tracks when I first heard it was, that's me. That's my pick-me-up song. Because whenever I doubt, or whenever I feel like there's doubt in my mission, I think about, who am I doing this for? Who are the people involved? Why is it important to bring them with you, even though they may not physically be here? Why is it important to bring their memory with you? So when I heard this song, I was like, this is me.
Okay, well, you also said you have to pull over at the side of the road. So let's check out Luke Combs. This one's for you.
There's a couple people that I owe a beer or two, and 3 or 4 I owe more than a few. For all the times I couldn't find the answers, stumbling through the dark without a clue. This one's for you. Mom and Daddy always did their best for a crazy fool who couldn't help himself. I thank God they were there to see me through. This one's for you. I told you all I'd write you a song, pour my heart in a melody to keep you singing along. This might not be the right time, these might not be the right lines to prove or say what I'm trying to, but this one's for you. I've been knocked down time and time again, got picked back up by luck and a few good friends who reminded me of all I stood to lose. This one's for you. Yeah, I told you all I'd write you a song.
You know, part of your job is to help people see their goals through, see their visions through, help them achieve. How do you feel about achieving the unpacking of your 3 songs on your personal playlist podcast?
I feel cool. I really hope, I hope it resonates with other people. I hope that they find value in these 3 songs, but I also hope, anything that I share with you here and we discuss that, somebody's inspired by it. And they realize that you do have to fulfill your mission here. It's why you're here, and only you know what that is. Nobody can tell it to you. It comes out in time, and you'll eventually. I remember Garth Brooks, for instance, when he was interviewed, he said he was listening to a George Strait song, and all of a sudden he's like, "This is what I want to do. I want to sing country music. I want to impact people," and he has millions. But that didn't happen until he was in college. You don't know. There's no age too late. You don't know when your mission is going to be revealed to you, but it will be. And be prepared. And with that, know that you will have a problem, because that means you're not there yet. But you follow the river. You follow where it takes you, and trust in the process. And you will do it. You absolutely will do it.
Amazing. Where can people find you?
So everything, Noah, is on my website, Coach Adam, www.coachadam34.com. That leads to obviously my personal website, and then the podcasts. The podcasts are extremely inspirational. Recording a couple more this week and next week. We're really excited about who we have lined up and who we've already recorded. And then obviously the book and all the information. I'm currently writing 2 more books that hope to get it done by 2021, but I'm not going to rush it. So, they will be completed. But again, the mission's there and why I need to complete them and for who. But the website is the absolute best way to find me, because it has all my contact information and everything that I've accomplished.
Cool. What are the other books about?
So the first book will be about ADHD. I really want to. There are books out there for people who are writing from a parent's perspective, from a teacher's perspective. This is going to be from the kid's perspective. This is going to be from the kid who actually has had it his whole life, and I just want these kids to connect to it and say, "Yeah, he's right. I'm not weird, or I don't think weird. This is how I think." And as teachers, professionals, and parents, we need to adjust to the way they think, because when you do, extraordinary things will happen. I promise you. The second book, which I want to publish, the first one with ADHD first. The second book is a really project I've been thinking about for years, and it's going to be exactly what I've stood by, which is ordinary people truly extraordinary. These people who are in the communities and have extraordinary capabilities that others can learn from, just about compassion, about service. I'm going to get kind of inside their head and ask very active questions so that I can teach it to other people. So that one is going to take a little bit more time, but we're moving on that because I've already got the people in we've already interviewed them and kind of put the outline together. So that'll be something that I'm really looking forward to and accomplishing also.
That is so exciting. I want to thank you so much for your time and for pumping us up with your story and compelling us to our own stories. Is there anything you want to add before I play you out?
Noah, thank you so much again for having me. This has just been an honor. And just remember to everybody out there listening, you are extraordinary. We need you to be. Please stay that way.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Noah.
Thank you for joining us on the P3, the Personal Playlist Podcast. I'm Noah Daniel. This is Voice Ed Radio, and I hope you have a fantastic day.